Welcome to this edition of the Kids Ministry Collective Podcast, where we talk about topics and resources that help you lead more to reach more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this edition of the Kids Ministry Collective Podcast. And welcome to another episode of the Kids Ministry Collective Podcast. My name's Tom Bump, and I'm your host. Thanks for joining me, my friends. I am looking forward to this conversation. Thanks for listening to the Kid Ministry Collective, or the KMC as we call it. We love to serve our ministry leader friends. I got to ask a question. Have you ever considered about today's generation alpha and where they're learning? I mean, what I've seen recently is some research that says they're going to YouTube more than anywhere else to find information, to be entertained. And I'm just wondering, how does that impact the church? How do we reach kids outside of the church where they're spending their time in and on YouTube and not in the church building? What do we do? So, we're going to talk about some of those kind of things and what do we need to do to maintain or start an online presence that we can reach those kids? Because, there's some of you out there that you're going to say, well, I don't do YouTube or I don't do digital media. I'm not an influencer. Well, that's okay. You don't have to be. I want to share some ways that you can leverage something really, really cool that's on YouTube for your families and for the kids you're leading. I'm super excited about. My guest today is one of my closest friends and somebody I value a tremendous amount. He's one of the most creative people I know, and he's using his creativity to reach kids that may never set foot in a traditional church building. And I'm super excited to have him on, or back on, I should say, to the Kid Ministry Collective podcast. Welcome back, my friend Ben Fowlkes.
How are you, man?
It's good to see you, bro. It's always so much fun hanging out with you, my brother. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited for you to reveal something new. And if you're watching the YouTube channel, you can see Ben right now. If you're not watching, if you're just listening to the podcast, you're going to watch. You want to watch this episode. It is on the Kid Ministry Collective Facebook YouTube channel. Wow, and you can actually see Mr. Ben. So
Yes.
anyway, hey Ben, you know the drill here at the KMC. We always start with a why question. So I want to ask, why do you believe that we as ministry leaders need to put some effort in getting a digital footprint out there? Why is digital ministry so important to you? Because I know you're passionate about this.
Well, man, it actually goes back. Been in ministry for 20 plus years and church ministry, in fact. And it didn't happen until 2016. I was actually speaking at a summer camp and I met this kid named D. And D was like, man, my mama ain't ever going to take me to church. She'll just throw an iPad in my face and say, entertain myself. And then she goes up to her bedroom and will disappear for like 2 days, does drugs, all kinds of other stuff, not giving a care about the spirituality of their kid or whatever the kid's doing. I mean, he could do anything on that iPad. And it hit me. It hit me so hard because there are kids just like D out there that will never step foot in the door of church. They'll get invited to something, but they can't go because mama ain't going to take it. And so for me, it really just hit me like, I need to get where those kids are. And in 2016, God gave me this word missionary. I had no idea what it meant. It scared the living bejeebus out of me. I was like, I don't want to go overseas. I like my United States of America. And so I just started praying, and it took years and process throughout that years for me to actually understand what that word missionary was. And I was starting to like create what I thought it was. And God said, no, I want you to go where those kids are at. And it boils down, long story short, as I created an app. It was called 1014 Kids. And I was going to put the church on that phone for those kids that never went. And I gathered a group of them together one summer at the same camp. I went back to a camp for underprivileged kids. They don't go to church. They get picked up from the school system, taken to a summer camp for a week. And I would say 90% of them had never stepped foot into a church. And
Wow.
they're like, they didn't like grasp it, but like 2 or 3 days of them experiencing God's love, they started just like falling. They didn't want to go home because they knew that this is where the love and the compassion and
Yeah.
just the investment comes from. And so I put the app in front of them and they tore it apart. Oh my goodness. Like I felt that big and just, I was like, well, I guess that's not exactly what God had planned. So I scrapped that idea and just started praying, okay, God, that didn't go well. So apparently I was trying to do it on my own. And just over the past couple of years, 2023, YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. Every time I talk to one of those kids, they're on YouTube. They even got their own YouTube channels. And so I'm like, man,
Yeah.
why don't I go where they're at? And it scared me. Like, I don't know how to start a YouTube. I didn't know what to do. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on how to start a YouTube. Like, for me, I was scared out of my mind, but God just said, "Do it." And so I figured it out and I did it, and I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm reaching those kids. I very quickly started in October teaching kids the Bible stories in less than 60 seconds. Like, I don't make YouTube videos. I'm just going to stick with the shorts. Like, I can make 60-second videos really easy. And with their attention span, the kids that are watching, that's where they were at anyways. And so for me, like, I just started being in the shorts and getting my videos in the feeds, and in 60 days. So 60-second
Wow.
videos, and in 60 days, I've already reached 1,000 subscribers. And I know that there's a lot of kids that can't even subscribe. So, but I'm getting great feedback. And so I know that right now it's not about the subscribers. It's just about being consistent
Yeah.
and doing what God called me to do. And that is just show up. And so every day I'm showing up on YouTube, doing my thing, 60-second Bible stories. And
That
that
is
has
so
grown.
cool.
That has grown me, but and how to communicate. And the I guess the question is like, what is God teaching me? And is He's teaching me just show up, be consistent, and listen.
Mhm.
Listen to what I told you to
Wow.
do in the first place.
You know, obedience is huge as ministry leaders. If we're, and that's what I've seen sometimes where younger leaders and seasoned leaders make a huge mistake as we stay in our comfort zones. We stay in those things that we feel that we know better than anything. And digital ministry is something that I think a lot of us as ministry leaders are terrified to think about. We like the physical ministry. We like being in the room and being with kids and just talking to a screen, although lots of people are doing it nowadays. Everybody's got their portable TV studio right in their hand and everybody
Yeah.
wants to be an influencer. You would think there would be more out there. um, I want to talk about this for just a second, and then I really do want to dive into what you're doing because I think more leaders need to hear about this. But we need to wrap our heads around what digital ministry is, and what are just some of the key things you've seen out there that are effective in getting kids' attention. What are some of the qualities that are out there?
So for me, being in my 40s, it's one of those things like I could come up with all kinds of answers, but until you ask the kids what they're into, until you sit there and you watch what they're watching, you don't really grasp it. And so I'm watching, like I have a group of kids at church that every Sunday I'll ask, what's going on? What you watching? What you doing on YouTube? Every summer, going back to the camps and talking to those kids. And what I'm finding is they're watching games, like people playing video games for that personal interaction. They feel like they know the people that are playing. So they keep going back because they connect, even though that person playing has probably never met that kid, they have a connection with them because he shows up on their feed every day and they feel like they know.
Mm.
Oh man, Mr. Beast, one of the hugest YouTube channels of all time. What does he do? He does crazy videos, grabs kids' attention, and he also does things to give back. And so like kids are like enthralled with just his craziness, but yet he does it and he does it big. Dude Perfect, stuff like that. Like these are shows that the kids continually go back to because they bring good content and they feel like they're connected to them without even like having met them before ever. So
So what you're saying then is kids are attracted to people that are consistently out there that are doing something that's fun and entertaining, but they're also doing something good with it. They're helping other people with it. Those were the am I hitting the 3 kinda keys there that's what kids are looking at?
well, from the kids I'm talking to, yeah. And
Okay,
it's one of
cool.
those like if they're making a difference, if they're doing it big and they just continually show up, those kids are like, boom, they're focused in on it. And I even have a daughter that would watch YouTube channels of just families just blogging their day because she felt like she was part of it as well because they were there every week they're posting and every week she would look forward to it. They just had babies. And so like for her to find out that they're having another baby was so exciting because she felt like she was a part of their life. And
Interesting.
they have no idea who she is. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's really neat to watch and hear where kids are putting their time.
yeah. So, uh, can you tell us some other things? What else is popular right now? And are there any I mean, because maybe as our listeners are hearing this or watching this, they're wondering, well, who should I be paying attention to? You named off a couple, but is there any other ones that you feel like the kids have told you are popular that it would help for for our listening audience to go and check them out?
I'll be honest with you, the kids that don't go to church, there's not Christian content out there that's grabbing them. And so that was a really kick in
Mm,
the pants for me is like 60 seconds to tell a Bible story that they've never heard before, or they've heard about it, but they've never really grasped it. I've got to put all that information into a small amount of time. And it's hard. It really is. You take a Bible story of Moses or Noah, and you can talk about it for days and like create full 4-week curriculum off of that stuff.
yeah, right, right.
But try to put that down into something that's just going to get inside their brain. So I'm not necessarily teaching Bible stories, but I'm planting seeds. And I'm planting the seed of Noah. I'm planting the seed of all the good, like Jonah,
Yeah,
Daniel. I'm putting that story in their head, good quality content that they could go to church and learn way more than I give them in 60 seconds. But I give them enough to where I hope it grabs them. They're intrigued. They want to learn more. Or when at the end of the day, as they grow up and they do decide to go to church, or they do get an opportunity to go to church and they hear the story of Jonah and the well or Jonah and the big fish. So like they've heard it before
yeah,
and they connect and they automatically go from what is this to I've heard that before. And they're boom, they're focused in on it. They learn more out of it. And so my goal is, to just put it out there. And I've been looking, man, the Bible app for kids has a Bible experience that does something similar every day. There's a couple churches that are doing it really well. Like, let's see, All Star Kids Club, amazing YouTube channel. Westridge Kids out of Dallas, Georgia, man, they're doing amazing stuff. I love watching their hilarious, uh, almost dude perfect kind of feel. But yeah, there's a few different ones like that will just grab you. It depends on what you're looking for, but there's not a lot that just hit kids where they're at. Like Blippy or, Bluey, like they're there. Kids are like all about them.
right.
Um, how can we as Christians, as churches, as followers of Christ, just put content out there? Like some of them are going to hit, some of them are going to miss, but like you don't know until you do it. And what may miss with thousands of kids may grab one and you've done your job.
Mm. All right. I think I'm gonna throw out some of our preconceived ideas here about this episode, and I wanna dive right into what you've been working on. Obviously, people that are watching the YouTube channel can see this little set you're sitting in front of, and you've got your BKB hat on and all of that. So, all right, we're not talking to Ben Fowlkes anymore. We're talking to Big Kid Ben. All right, Big Kid Ben, what are you working on to reach the kids who will never set foot in the church or may never set foot in the church? We hope one day they will. But what are you working on?
Oh man, I'd love to tell you, but I have to kill you. I'm just kidding. Uh, so I'm hitting YouTube Shorts every day. I'm a daily, 5 days a week, and then on the weekends we do a weekend challenge. And one of the things that I've learned is just put the Bible out there and make it exciting enough that they'll listen. And so I'm telling Bible stories. It could be anything from the Bible, more or less. I'm talking about, like, if you go back to when I started in October, like, I'm talking about bad days. Who had a bad day, but how did God fix it? I'm talking about crazy things that Jesus said in the Bible, like, what? All this craziness is that's in the Bible currently right now. I'm telling you what's in the Bible. Like, we yesterday, this week, we've been talking about, did you know that dragon is mentioned 21 times in the Bible? You got mermaids. Are those in the Bible at all? Let's see.
I saw some about a unicorn.
Unicorns. Unicorns are mentioned in the Bible. So these are things that kids are like drawn to. I'm going to tell them what's in the Bible, what's not in the Bible. But the kicker is, how do I do that clearly in 60 seconds or less? Introduce myself, tell the story, or quick tidbit from it, and then bring it together for them. So, like, what are you going to do with that? So, literally, you're telling the Bible story in less than 30 seconds. And man, it's really challenged me as a communicator how to talk a Bible in one elevator ride or less. And sometimes
Wow.
it's really hard. You take the Bible story, you read it, and you're like, write down notes. How am I going to do this? I turn to AI every once in a while, like, AI, tell this Bible story in less than 60 seconds, go. And try to get how they make it smoothly flow
Yeah.
together.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so that when I do get up there, it's like, okay, is this, I can do this.
Can
Um,
you can I put you on the spot? Can I get you to do a Big Kid Ben live right on the spot? Can we pull one off? Yeah.
we
Now,
give it,
I gotta tell everybody, we weren't planning this. I'm literally throwing this at him right here, right now, live on the episode. Can you give us a taste of Big Kid Ben?
oh yeah, man. What Bible
Like
story?
3, 2, 1, go.
You gotta give me like, give me a story. What do you want to hear?
Well, let's do a bad day one. Let's do a bad day one.
All right, let's do. So, oh me. All right, here we go.
All right,
I'll do
go
the
for it.
story, um, of Jonah.
There we go. Yes, yes, I love that one.
Hey, everybody, Big Kid Ben here, and I want to tell you a story of a guy named Jonah. Now, Jonah, he was a guy that wanted to do the right thing, but he got a little scared. And that guy, he went the opposite direction. He went and jumped on another boat, headed in another way, and ran away from what God was telling Jonah to do. But all of a sudden, there was this big old storm. It got crazy, and they finally figured out that Jonah was the reason that boat was rocking. And so Jonah got thrown overboard and swallowed by a giant fish. That fish kept him in his mouth, chewed him over for a couple days, and then got rid of him by spitting him out. Jonah eventually got back onto dry land, went back the right way to where God was telling him to go, and he changed that country, that world, that place that we called Nineveh.
Oh, dude, that was awesome. You have to
That was
watch this on
that
YouTube
was hard.
because,
That was good. Do it in less than 60 seconds.
yeah, I tell you, folks, this is why I say he's one of the most creative people, because I literally put him on the spot right there, right then, and he pulled it off. That was phenomenal. Phenomenal? Yes.
That's a new word. I like that.
Yes, there's a new one. Phenomenal. There you go. That sounded like PT Kaboom talking, scientifical. Phenomenal. Ben, you are phenomenal.
I'll take it, man.
So as you're doing these things and as you're showing them to some of the kids, what are some of the things that you've heard from them as they've watched some of that?
So some of the things that I've heard, I've gotten text messages from people all over the United States. I've gotten Facebook messages that people have found to me. And what's cool is the Bible stories that I tell during the day, I try to bring it back on the weekend by doing an interactive thing. So whether it's John 3:16, I taught kids how to cut a cross with one cut. You can make a cross out of a piece of paper. And I'm getting pictures, moms that are sending me pictures of their kids holding up a cross that says John 3:16. I've got choose kindness. I put a little ball, ping pong ball in the middle of 3 cups and just switch them around really, really, really fast. And that has gone crazy. Like people are like, I love that one. That's probably one of the most popular ones out there right now. And it's giving them an opportunity to hear it, but actually to experience it. So a lot of my videos aren't necessarily just teaching, but it's interactive. Like I'll play a game that leads to the Bible story, and I'll mix that in there. And I've gotten a few kids that I've interacted with. It's like I want you to be a part of it as well. So like having them introduce Big Kid Ben, like, hey, it's Big Kid Ben time, or something to that effect.
Very
Like
cool.
you're gonna see more of that. And I don't just want to be somebody who's teaching. I want kids to feel like they're part of it. And it's hard when you can't see them. Like I'm looking at a screen. I have no idea what's going on. But I heard one time that it doesn't matter. You do your due diligence and you figure out the best way to present your content. But at the end of the day, it's going to be God's algorithm that takes it and uses it. And so,
Yes.
man, I'm blessed to be able to have quickly gotten 1,000 subscribers in
Cool.
just 60 days. But like, I'm not trying to get a big head about it. I'm just going to keep showing up, keep
Yeah.
being consistent. And if God wants to take one of those videos and make it go viral or to make it like blow up on YouTube, man, that would be awesome. But at the end of the day, I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this for lives
Yeah.
of these kids that'll
Yeah.
never step foot in a church to be better. Give them good content.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of nasty crap out there
Yeah,
on
there
YouTube.
is.
And so how can I put good crap out there on YouTube so that those kids, it fills up their feed? YouTube shorts, when as soon as they get on, I'm hoping Big Kid Ben's mixed in there somewhere.
Yeah. What are some of your other goals for Big Kid Ben? What are some of the things you'd like to do with it?
Man, I want to go live with it. Big Kid Ben. So I've got that I know of 3 churches that have reached out to me and said, hey, just want to let you know we use your stuff as pre-game music at church. Like they'll just throw me up on the screen and I entertain the kids by telling 60-second Bible stories. And they use that as kind of a countdown to get started. And that's awesome. That makes me super excited to hear.
Yeah.
But I would love to go into churches. So I'm really fine tuning how to tell a Bible story in less than 60 seconds. I want to tell the whole story of the Bible in 60 minutes or less. So I want to come to your church and do a kid event, Big Kid Ben style, with the whole story of the
Wow.
Bible from Genesis to Revelations. And I don't know if you remember back in the day, walk through the Bible. I'm
Yes.
sure there's,
Yep.
I experienced that as a kid and it was awesome. I still remember a lot of the emotions.
Yeah.
And I want to take the whole story of the Bible and it can be done. Like there's a bunch of books that I've read out there that you can fine tune the Bible down into the whole goal of it in like 16 verses. I want to create the whole story of the Bible in 60 minutes. And I want to show up at a church and make it a fun family event where you're learning the Bible in 60 minutes, Big Kid Ben style. And
I
it'll
love
be
it.
active. It's going to be exciting. So I'm aiming that way. I've already got the stuff in process. I just need a couple of churches to give me a chance.
Well, there you
Well,
go. Hey, so maybe there's some listeners out there. Ben's down in Georgia. Um, and so if there's a church down in Georgia, we're going to give some contact information. There'll be some in the show notes. Um, BigKidBen up. I can highly recommend that for sure. So okay, so because I was going to ask how leaders in the church utilize this to make a presence outside of the church. How can we utilize Big Kid Ben stuff, the videos, Instagram, YouTube? What are some other ways that you would love to see us use this kind of stuff?
Man, I'm hoping, and I've had a couple of churches contact me. It's like, hey, we're doing a story on. Do you got any of those videos? I would love to partner together with you. So, like right now, like I said, I started in October. I'm just about to hit my 100th video on YouTube. I would love to help you. Like, if you are in the process of teaching a story on, let's just stick with Jonah. If you're in the process of sticking to Jonah for 4 weeks, let me help you do like a pregame video or a quick 60-second video. Jonah in 60 seconds for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, whatever
Okay.
you need. I would love to help. And I can come up with that content for you, or you can tell me what you want to hit on. And that works. If you've already seen one of my videos, share it. The
Yes.
best thing to do is, like, if you liked it, share it, send it to your Facebook, share it to your Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want to do. Share that video out, because the more people that see it, they'll want to share it with their kids. And we reach more kids for Christ, or
Yeah.
we make them realize that the Bible is exciting. The Bible is
Yes.
fun. Next week, I guess this week, I'm focusing in on the mythological questions of the Bible, like dragons, giants, mermaids, and such, and unicorns. But next week, I'm going back to, man, there are so many promises in the Bible, like hundreds. Like, I want to talk about the promises, and I want to help these kids realize that God has promised them a lot, and they just got to know where to turn. And
Yes.
talking emotions and like all that stuff. So, like, when I originally started this, it was, I want to be the new version of Mr. Rogers, helping kids fight battles with just like telling them how it is, telling them
Yeah.
where they, can go and where they can turn. And for me, that's the Bible. And that's what I'm trying to share.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So where can people find Big Kid Ben? How do they find you on the whole interwebs?
The interwebs, YouTube, of course. You can type in Big Kid Ben. So if you type youtube.com at Big Kid Ben, it'll take you right to my page. But if you type in Big Kid Ben in the search bar, it'll put me up there. You'll see my big face. Uh, you also see a bunch of videos about Big Ben, the clock in England. That's all. I'm still trying. I'm still growing. I'm on Instagram and every day. So I'll post a link to my Instagram that you can just click on and you can share that. So Big Kid Ben on Instagram. And that way, if you don't go to YouTube and you're just scrolling through Instagram, you can at least click on it. It'll open up that one video in the stories. Big Kid Ben on TikTok, Big Kid Ben on Instagram. And you're always welcome to follow me on Facebook, Ben Folks. But if you're looking for Big Kid Ben, that's where I'm at.
There we go. I want to challenge all of my listeners to go subscribe to his channel. Let's hit his channel and let's all subscribe to it. I already have. You can, I mean, on the Kid Ministry Collective Instagram account, I've been sharing and will continue to share some of his daily posts, so you can find it there as well. And if you haven't followed the Kid Ministry Collective Instagram, go ahead and follow that along with it. But follow Ben there, and because that will help him get the word out to these kids that may not set foot in our churches, or this might be the introduction that gets you there, so and gets them there, I should say. So check it out, but also be thinking, how can you as a ministry, if you're wanting to reach those kids in the streets around your church that haven't come into the building and haven't visited any church, what do you need to take and what do you need to do to get in front of them digitally? It doesn't have to be fancy. It
I'm
just
just like,
needs
this is exactly what I got right here. It's a cell phone and a tripod that I got off of Amazon. It really is like, just do it. You don't need fancy equipment. Your phones are
Yeah.
made now where they're almost better than some of the cameras you got. And just put your little tripod up and just start making a video.
Yeah.
It's not going to be professional day one. I go back and look at my first week and going, ooh, oh,
Yeah.
ooh, did I do that? And I'm sure years from now, if I continue to do this and reach these kids online, I'm going to look back and go, wow,
Yeah.
for the days. And so, yeah, just do it. Like, don't hesitate. You got a cell phone and you got $19 for a tripod off of Amazon, and just make a video and put it out there and let God's algorithm take it.
There you go. I like that. I like that. Oh, my brother, thank you. Thank you for being obedient. Thank you for showing up for the kids. Thank you for just continuing to listen and be, like I say, to be obedient. That's powerful in God's hands, man. And I know He's going to bless it. I know He's going to open doors because, like, you and I have talked enough off air about we're not going to kick any doors open. We're going to let God open them up because those are the best doors to walk right through. And I love trying to serve the ministry leaders. That's why I do the Kid Ministry Collective. That's why we do what we do here. Is just to help leaders be better, to reach more. And so, man, thanks for the time. I can't wait to see, I always enjoy watching my little video and watching my little snippets with Ben and yeah, I mean, it's a good challenge for me. I love telling stories. I love being in front of the kids, and so this has helped me too. So it's always good to study other people and see what they're doing, what works. So, all right, my friends. Ben, thank you so much. I appreciate the time, bro.
BigKidBen, see ya.
He's out. He's gone. And that's going to wrap up this episode of the Kids Ministry Collective podcast. I just again want to say thanks. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing. We would love to have you do that as much as you can. Come check out the Kid Ministry Collective community on Facebook. Just be sure to answer the questions. We'd love to have you join us there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for Kid Ministry Collective as we continue to add more of these podcasts and other trainings and teaching and tidbits. We're going to be doing a lot more there as well. So if there's anything I can do to serve you, to help you, please reach out. Check us out at kidministrycollective.com as well. Thanks for listening, my friends, and stay tuned for another episode real soon. Thanks for listening to this edition of the Kids Ministry Collective podcast. We hope that it's helped and encouraged you. If you would, support our podcast by continuing to share it with other leaders. And if you haven't already, hey, please subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to this podcast. We look forward to hearing from you how this podcast has helped and sharpened your skills in ministries. So let us know on your Facebook page or head over to kmccoach.net and share with us there. And thanks again for listening to the Kid Ministry Collective podcast.